continue now because in the last few years, Chile has positioned itself as a digital hub in Latin America with the installation of more than 15 data centers of companies at a global level. Invest Chile has supported more than 20 new projects of the area sector with a potential investment of $3 billion. And what makes our country so attractive in this area for infrastructure and technological companies? This is part of what we will talk about with our next guest. He is Felipe Caballero, Vice President of Construction and Engineering of the Brazilian company Ascenti that has 2 data centers in Chile, and that's in an expansion project. Good morning, Felipe. How are you? Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to talk about our history in Chile. Recently, we had news about the project of installing new data centers. How do you see that project, that process? Well, we couldn't talk about an expansion for a new data center without first saying about this, what's happening in installing our first data center in Chile. We started last year. We got in a record time, instead of all the moment that we are going through, to deliver to the customer. Today, November 11th, we are commissioning 6.3 megawatts of power for IT, being a total of 11 megawatts of total power. And obviously, this made that this caused our customer to understand that we have the possibility of working with Ascenti again, as they do in other countries, for instance, Brazil, Mexico, and others, to bet on coming to Chile with Ascenti. And this is what drove this new expansion in Chile, where we'll have a data center that's 3 times bigger, where we're talking about an IT power of around 20 megawatts with a total power of 32 megawatts. So we are talking, because the question is obvious. What motivated you to keep growing in a country that's been very affected? It's a problem of the region and our country. What motivated to keep investing and growing in Chile? Well, for us, it's very important once we prove Chile as a strategic point because of the good conditions as location, connectivity, abundance of energy, of power, an active economy and receptive economy that simplifies the investments. So the conditions so that we can land in Chile very easily with very low bureaucracy. This is not only noted by Ascenti, but our global customers that need the same conditions to install their data centers with cutting-edge technology and new technologies that are being developed. So I think that's the focus point, to land at a country that gives us the conditions so that we can keep investing instead of the problems that we've had this year, obviously, but are moments that, or instances that are outside of our control. But investing in Chile has been very easy for us, and to be able to expand it, not only to a second data center, but I would like to tell you that we will have the third one. And for you, Chile is a digital hub in Latin America? Yes, for us, it's very important. But Chile is very important from the strategic point of view because we are at a location, a privileged location, safe location, with connectivity, with, as I was saying, clean, renewable energy. And our goal will always be to be able to have Chile as a hub for our data centers, because from there to the world, to our customers, can also have the intention to work. So when we installed ourselves in Chile, we don't only get there looking for a new business, just to take care the needs of our global customers that want to start working in Chile and from Chile be able to work for the world. So very interesting, Felipe Caballero, Vice President of Project Engineering and Construction of Ascenti. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much.
And if talking about extraordinary cases, hear this correctly. Chile can be the protagonist of a true global revolution in energy terms. Because according to specialists, our country gathers the ideal conditions to produce green hydrogen, which for many is the fuel of the future. Are we ready to be pioneers and lead this revolution? To respond to this question, we have here with us Neil Grovet, who is the leader of business for multinational ENGIE, French multinational. Welcome, Niels. Thank you, Josefa, for the invitation. No, thank you. The truth is that we're talking about sustainable, renewable energies, but we're talking about green hydrogen as well, which I believe is a concept that has positioned itself slowly. What is it, and why does Chile gather the conditions to have a good business here? Chile has, of course, some critical elements for the production of green hydrogen. Chile, in the north and the south of Chile, the territory, we can strengthen the production of renewable energy there, because to produce green hydrogen, we need a source of renewable energy. But in addition, we have to have an entire ecosystem, not only have access to renewable energy, but to also have some potential consumers, such as the territory of the north of Chile with the mining and some chemical companies that have the need of decarbonizing and the use of hydrogen to add to renewable energy. That could be a solution for the carbon footprint of these companies. Neil, you are present in Brazil, Peru, Argentina, and Chile. You've been through here in Mejillones with the regas plant, with the hydropower plants. But in 2018, you started strengthening this business of green hydrogen. Now the question is, what are the plans of your company to develop this company in Chile, this industry? Well, first of all, we have created 2 years ago a business unit that is specially dedicated to the development of renewable hydrogen. And we have assessed different parts in the world, territories, to assess these types of projects are large scale. And Chile, in the ranking of countries, it's interesting because Chile was one of the #1 in our ranking. Why? Because, first of all, as we talked about before, it has these elements, and we've seen this potential with some customers, of our customers that we have in the north of Chile. Therefore, ENGIE, as an international company, has decided to develop different projects in this area, the north of Chile, where we have, for now, a pipeline of projects that is under development, that in this decade will probably need large amounts of investments for hydrogen producing plants at large scale. We're talking about more than $2-3 billion. that will be injected here in Chile throughout the years or these 2 decades to come. Let's talk about benefits. What are the final benefits of having an energy network here, specifically in terms of green hydrogen? If we want to decarbonize a process that is industrial, mobility, and others, we have different ways of doing so. Or through electricity, because there's many uses that currently need electricity, but there are some things, some processes, some sectors which decarbonization cannot be done through electricity. So in this case, diesel fuels, dual fuel, all of this energy demand that cannot be supplied through electricity. For this, we need another renewable element, and that is where the hydrogen solution comes in. Well, this hydrogen can be substituted by these can substitute these fuels that are hard to decarbonize. Neil, I was also reading that you can use this at any time of the day, at night, or under any weather condition. What are the conditions that our country gathers to make this type of energy feasible at a long term? As you mentioned, it is one of the advantages of hydrogen, actually. You can use it during the day, and clearly in the north of Chile, we have an enormous potential there to produce hydrogen thanks to the solar resources. The advantage is that we're transforming solar energy, which only exists during the day, into something that can be reused during the night. Now, once solar power turns into hydrogen energy, hydrogen can be stored and can be used outside the area, which allows you to have an abundance of renewable energy and during the day and during the night, both. In that regard, I'd like to know what are the sectors or industries that could be benefited by using these types of energies? There are many sectors that could reap the benefits of this locally, domestically. Domestic use is that we could have the mining industry here in Chile. It is an engine for economy, clearly. So we could have a decarbonization of mining through this renewable initiative directly through electricity or hydrogen, which could be a first domestic application. Then we have all the possibilities of transforming this hydrogen into different products, such as ammonia, methanol, and other types of fuels, which can be exported. And there's no limit there because the maritime sector has to decarbonize all transport through the ships. So transports of large tonnage, which are complicated nowadays, we could do all of this through hydrogen and hydrogen derivatives. And for example, in the mining sector, the mining trucks, that you could have an application there in Chile or in other countries that don't have as much renewable energy as Chile has. Perfect. That is quite interesting what you've told us. This is a space where Chile is also progressing and growing. Niels Grovet, thank you very much for accompanying us today. Head of the Development of Green Hydrogen for company ENGIE. Thank you very much for accompanying us today.
And when we return, we will be talking with the remarked North American economist Jeffrey Sachs about the global post-pandemic economic situation. And don't forget to comment using social media, using Twitter in our seminar, #InvestChileSeminar, and become part of our dialogue. A pause and we will return.
the World Economic Overview. It's uncertain in the role of the pandemic. What will be the role of the pandemic in economies such as the Chilean economy after the crisis? And in addition, our next interview is with one of the most important economists from the world, academic at the University of Columbia, senior advisor of the United Nations, and has been named within the 100 more influential leaders in the world by magazine Time. We'd like to welcome Professor Jeffrey Sachs.
Mr. Sachs, thank you so much to being here. We are very grateful to talk with you today.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you.
And we have some questions for you. 2020
Please.
has certainly been a complex year on several fronts. The pandemic, the trade war, the US elections. What can we expect about the future of global economy?
I think we can expect a better year in 2021 on all fronts. We should be in a much better shape to get this pandemic under control. Countries are learning better how to take control measures. We will have some new vaccines coming in 2021, so that will be a big improvement. Second, we have a big improvement in the United States. We will have a new president on January 20th, President Joe Biden, and he's going to be a far better president. He will stop these trade wars, and he will restart global cooperation. We will also have a number of important meetings internationally, including the meeting on climate change, in which I think almost all countries of the world will make a clear commitment to reach net zero emissions of carbon dioxide by 2050. So on all fronts, I think we will be in a better position in 2021 than we are this absolutely horrible year.
Yeah, I know. So how do you see economic recovery in the region and in Chile in particular? Will it take time?
Well, clearly, the first condition for recovery is to get the pandemic under control. And I would say that all of the region of the Americas, my country, and all through Latin America have not had a great experience this year. I would say we should compare our performance with the countries of the Asia-Pacific region, like China, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. All of them have stopped the pandemic. So the first thing I would say to everybody is look at the experience in Asia and then ask, what are we doing wrong and what do we need to do better? Better public health measures, better testing and tracing. But this epidemic can be controlled. And this is the first point for the economy, is stop this rampant epidemic. Of course, prepare for using the vaccines, which will be coming in 2021 as well. Then I think it's important to have a clear recovery program. And that should be built on investing in the new clean economy. I'm glad that Chile has made a clear commitment now to clean energy because Chile has so much potential of solar power, also hydroelectric, tremendous opportunities for clean electricity, which Chile needs for all its industry and for all its power use in general. So that's a second point. Then I think it will be helpful, and it's been very difficult this year, of course, to have more regional cooperation in South America, even for the power supply system.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of the governments are not so cooperative, so this is really a question of whether we can find the cooperation needed.
Yeah, in fact, will the global crisis caused by the pandemic affect levels of sustainable investment given the present need for economy recovery?
Well, the good news on investment is that interest rates are extremely low, and so financing terms can be very, very favorable for good projects. And if we reduce uncertainties, and have decent cooperation internationally, and with Trump gone, that will be much easier to do, then I think it's possible to have the kind of investment-led recovery that we need. The recovery won't be led by consumption. The recovery will be led by public investment. But I think that there is a real prospect for this. Interest rates are low. Renewable energy costs have plummeted. The ability to make large-scale investments in solar energy, for example, in Chile, will be very good. I think Chile's markets internationally for copper, for agricultural products will be strong. There is a strong recovery underway in Asia. This is a natural market for Chile.
Yeah.
Keep good relations with China, Japan, Korea. They are your big market.
Absolutely.
And I think that this is an important point, that they are in recovery now, and therefore the market looks pretty good, and the ability to therefore mobilize investments looks quite good.
Okay, and how would increased green investment could benefit Chile's economic and social development?
Well, the green investments, first of all, are very cost effective now. The price of solar energy has come down so much that it is absolutely cost competitive with every other source. And from a national security point of view, it's good. Chile has the sunshine. It doesn't have to import oil and gas from any place else. This is straight out of the Atacama Desert, and you've got the best resources in the world for solar energy. So the costs work, the national security works. It's cleaner air because this is a non-polluting energy source. It is a part of the sustainable development chain for all value products right now. Everybody in the world wants to know, are the companies on a sustainable supply chain? And so with clean energy, this is going to be another selling point for Chile, another attractive point.
Yeah.
So I see everything going in the right direction.
Okay, and what can Chile do to attract companies that are truly committed to making sustainable investment?
Well, clearly, first is a national plan that shows this is the direction that Chile is going. Here are our resources. This is the framework in which investments can be made. So the legal structure, the clear plan, the clear commitment to reach net zero emissions, the fact that other public investments, for example, getting ready for electric vehicles, which will be a major transformation of mobility everywhere in the world in the next 15 years, is another thing that the government can do. Yet another point, of course, for investment in general is to say we have the skills in order to be the right place to do business. The skills in the 21st century, of course, are the kind of technical skills that require solid education. And so I think that any country, and Chile is in a good position to do it, that wants to promote a clean, green, vibrant future needs to focus as well on more inclusive, high-quality education. This has been a big point of debate in Chile for years, but I think that the commitment of the public budget and public policy to universal access to quality education has to be a priority for Chile going forward.
Another question, Mr. Sachs, you were talking about this. Our country is seeking to decarbonize its economy, given priority to other production of clean energies such as wind and solar power and green hydrogen. What benefits can Chilean society expect from this change?
Well, first of all, we all have to do it everywhere in the world because we are in a climate crisis that is getting more and more dire, more and more serious. 2020, our year is not only a year of pandemic, but it's probably going to be the hottest year in history, or certainly in the top few years of recorded history in temperature. In other words, we have a massive crisis, so every country has to decarbonize. We just had a presidential election where this was debated, where Trump wants to protect the fossil fuel industry. Biden says, no, we're going to have a clean economy, and Biden won the election. And it's also important for people in Chile to appreciate that just in recent weeks, China has committed to reaching net zero emissions by 2060 in China's case. Japan has just committed to reaching net zero emissions by 2050. Korea has just committed to reaching net zero emissions by 2050. Europe has also adopted the European Green Deal, which commits to net zero emissions by 2050. And Europe is also going to put in place border taxes to put tariffs on products that are produced with carbon-intensive fossil fuel energy. So it's going to be a trade barrier for countries that continue to rely on fossil fuels. All of this means that Chile will be part of a world effort. But Chile has a big advantage, which is it has maybe the best solar power in the entire world available to it. And this is extremely important. There are wonderful investment opportunities in Chile.
Absolutely. There has been important green investment in Chile, in Chilean energy sector. So how can this progress be broadened to other economic sectors?
Well, we're going to need green energy for the mining sector, obviously. That's where some of this investment has started. For the transport sector, because we'll be driving electric vehicles. For the buildings sector, because our buildings will become all electric buildings. And for some heavy industry, the clean energy is going to be used also with so-called green chemistry to produce hydrogen or other synthetic fuels that also will be important for decarbonization. In other words, you use the clean electricity to make split water to make hydrogen, or you use it to make green methane, synthetic methane, or other kinds of products, even hydrocarbon liquids that are made synthetically rather than through oil and gas extraction. So Chile may also develop an industry based on solar that is not for direct electrification, but for a hydrogen economy, for example, which could be important for Chile's own industry or even for export. So there are lots of opportunities to explore. But the point is that this kind of zero carbon energy will be the infrastructure basis for the entire economy, not for a single sector.
And finally, I suppose you know, our country is in the process of drafting a new constitution. So what are the main points it should include as regards sustainable development?
Well, this is a good opportunity to enshrine sustainable development in the Constitution. Sustainable development means that there is at the base a commitment to social inclusion based on human dignity. This is the idea of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as environmental sustainability. And constitutions around the world, the modern ones, have put in the environmental sustainability as a constitutional protection. And it can play a role in helping to guide the process. But I think for Chile, Chile has many, many strengths, of course. And it has been an economy of success. It has been a place where one can make good investments and where there has been economic growth. But we know that Chile faces the challenges of social inclusion. Inequality has come down a bit from the very highest levels, but it's still quite high. And we know that Chile, like all countries, is part of this transformation to environmental sustainability. So I hope that the constitutional process reflects Chile's ongoing strengths of a mixed market economy and all that that promises, together with the commitment to social inclusion, leaving no one behind, ensuring that basic human needs are met, and ensuring the good stewardship of the environment through the commitment to sustainability.
Absolutely. Mr. Sachs, thank you so much for this interview, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it. Thanks for having me with you.
Definitely an important look from this economist. Jeffrey Sachs has joined us in this Invest Chile seminar, and now we'll leave you with the next message. That's it, because I wanted to tell you that Invest Chile, the promotion agency of foreign investment, advises foreign companies so that they can start operations in the country. This year is supporting projects for more than $18 billion. And what's even more important, with the potential of job creation of 18,000 positions. To know more about Invest Chile, I would like to invite you to watch the following ad.